Hi, it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your May 2018 general readings. Thank you so much for joining us here today. Welcome to any newcomers. Excuse me. Thank you always for your likes, shares, subscribes, and all your support, feedback, and comments. Much appreciated. Keep them coming. And thank you to all of my clients out there, regular and new, for keeping me so busy with the personal one-on-one readings. As most of you who follow me know, if you are interested in a one-on-one personal reading with me, you can get more information in my contact details by either clicking on the description bar of all the videos I post or by going to my YouTube channel's homepage and clicking on the little About button. I do a wide variety of readings, and turnaround is pretty fast as I do readings full-time 5 to 6 days a week. It is what I do, so I can usually get back to you within the first day or 24 hours of your inquiry and schedule a personal reading live or recorded anywhere within a few days, upwards of a couple of weeks, but almost always within a 2-week period of time. So if you're interested, send me an email at maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. I'd be delighted to work with you. And for the fast answers to the quick, easy questions, you can also find me on the smartphone app Instantgo under Irish Gypsy, and that's also with my contact details. Okay, let's move right into this. This reading is for the Earth sign of Capricorn for the month of May 2018. They're general readings, of course, so they're always going to resonate differently for everybody watching. So if you know your rising and your moon sign, watch those videos as well. They may play out a little more predictively for you sometimes and can give additional insight and clarification. Okay, Capricorn, let's see what's in store for you for May. We begin with the Ten of Pentacles, followed by the Knight of Swords. We have the Hanging Man, followed by the Two of Swords, the Four of Cups, followed by the Ace of Wands, and we have the Queen of Cups, followed by the High Priestess. And from the bottom of the deck, your overall focus and energy and guidance for May 2018 is the Seven of Pentacles. So Capricorn, it looks like you may be in a waiting mode. There may be a delay of some kind, is kind of what I'm getting, which I feel will resolve itself more towards the last half or the end of the month. And I feel like for a lot of you, it's probably focused on the area of your life that deals with money, finances, home, property, particularly in regards to if there's a family connection, like family home, family money, family business, family estate. It looks like there may be some information you receive at the beginning of May or at the end of April, because I am recording these in the last few days of April. And your overall energy, your crowning card from the bottom of the deck, is the Seven of Pentacles. So Pentacles is that earth energy, which in the tarot usually manifests in that area of our life, which is about earthly things, concrete, tangible, practical things in our day-to-day life that usually we can see and touch and feel, or the results of efforts we put into other areas of our life: money, finances, property, real estate, assets, job, etc. The Seven of Pentacles is a card of reflection and assessment. It's a card of taking stock at what you have, and sometimes this can be just a gratitude check of looking around at everything that you have in your life and you know, feeling appreciative of it. It's a decent harvest. It's a pretty good harvest throughout the 7. Aces being the ones at the beginning, and 10s being completion, culmination, achievement, or cycles ending. 7 is a decent harvest. This is a card about taking stock and perhaps making decisions based on what you have. Does what you currently have in your life, particularly maybe in the earthly tangible part of your life, do you feel like it's justified the efforts that you've put into to cultivate and grow this harvest? Do you want to continue doing the same thing? Do you want to make changes? Do you want to make changes to what you're currently doing, or do something completely different? So it's a card of taking stock of what you have, of the effort you've put into something versus what you've gotten out of it, and perhaps making decisions based on that. So that's the overall energy and focus for May 2018 for Capricorns. Now we have the Ten of Pentacles with the Knight of Swords. So another Pentacles card here. This is a 10, which typically represents cycles ending or reaching a culmination or achievement point where it transitions into something else, because beginnings are always attached to endings. We have endings and then beginnings follow that. Birth follows death. It's just, excuse me, a little hoarse this morning. It's just the way that it goes. Traditionally, the Ten of Pentacles was the traditional inheritance card. It was the inheritance. And whether it represents actual inheritance from, like, you know, the settling of a family estate or property or money of some kind, which it might be for some of you, there's a strong connection to family home, family money, family business, family estate. But if it doesn't represent that in the specifics and details for those of you watching this, because of course in general readings it's going to vary, the details and specifics, but the energy and advice always remains the same. So what does inheritance really mean fundamentally? It represents a present sense of abundance, dollars and cents, or in security, you know, home or property, a business, present abundance. That's there because of the long, slow accumulation of what went into building it. So with the Ten of Pentacles, with this traditional card of inheritance, it represents that the abundance that's presently here comes from the weight of effort and time and history and patience that went into building it. And it often has a strong connection to family. So, and it could be actual inheritance for some of you, or the settling of an estate or division of assets from, you know, family estate or property or death or something of that sort, or proceeds from a family business. Now it's clarified by the Knight of Swords. So swords is air energy, which in the tarot usually manifests in a very mental, cerebral, intellectual way. It's about how we think, our perspectives, our outlooks, what we think about things, our belief systems, because that directly affects the way that we look at, relate to, and communicate our words and our ideas to the world and people in the world. Truth, insight, higher education, learning, everything that goes on up in here. Knights are usually seen as the deliverers. They usually represent an offer, an opportunity being brought to you, or vice versa, or, you know, an opportunity being placed in front of you, or something brought to you, because, you know, knights were known for you know, they're all about their missions and quests, bringing back results and achievements, bringing those back. And they can also represent the speed at which a situation moves. All four of the knights represent a situation that would move at a fairly fast pace. The Knight of Swords is probably kind of in the middle because he's air. Fire would be the fastest, but air is pretty fast too. So it could represent something that which comes in quite quickly. So swords is information, you know, things, words and ideas. So you know, it's information being delivered, news being delivered. I feel like it's information more than just a simple message, as a page might represent. And I sometimes call the Knight of Swords the inconvenient truth card, although not always, because this Knight of Swords would deliver his information very bluntly, probably very directly. This is what it is, you know, that saying, it is what it is, that we have in the world today kind of fits the Knight of Swords. He wouldn't be quite so concerned about, you know, delivering the message with a compassionate way, or, you know, be too concerned about the presentation. It's not that he's so emotionally aloof or doesn't care. It's just he's all about, here's the information, here's what the reality and the details of the situation are. Okay, now you have it. I'll see you later. So, and sometimes that can be difficult to take or challenging to accept, but it is what it is. So it looks like there's some you know, information coming in perhaps about something to do with inheritance, family money, family business, family home, family estate. It could be a settlement of some kind, or something in regards to the settling of, you know, some kind of benefits or investments from work. The Ten of Pentacles can sometimes represent retirement too, what you would get when you retired. What would be your benefits, your 401k, your retirement package too. And I feel like whatever this information is coming in about this, it creates a kind of a stuck feeling or a delayed kind of feeling. I don't feel like it's something you're not going to get entirely, because the Ten of Pentacles is still in the upright position. But next to that we have the Hanging Man and the Two of Swords. And next to that, kind of like around the middle part of the month or so, you know, time being fluid, so give or take a little either way, we also have the Four of Cups and the Ace of Wands. So this kind of grouping of 4 cards kind of in the middle of the month, representing chronologically the second week, the third week, or some around that time period. It looks like there's a sense, because of what you've learned, a sense of delay or feeling stuck, feeling perhaps like you're in stasis or limbo. Again, I'm getting to, for somebody, that this is in regards to a settlement regarding a legal situation of some kind, which could fit any of the things we talked about, actually. But it might not have to do with family money. So the Hanging Man and the Two of Swords. The Hanging Man, major arcana card, and it can represent feeling like you're in stasis and limbo, like there's no movement, because the Hanging Man is just hanging there. And often in other tarot decks, he's depicted as hanging. You know, he's not resisting is the thing. And that's the secondary definition of this card, or the energy of this card. This card represents kind of withdrawing for a little bit and not actively involving yourself in a conflict or a challenge or a situation where you might be tempted to. It's a card of kind of retreating just a little ways, taking a step back and watching how things play out, and waiting and being at peace within that little bubble. It's a transitional time. I never feel like the energy of the Hanging Man lasts very long. It's kind of a temporary transitional time, and it may seem uncomfortable or painful to people from the outside looking in, but he's just kind of, it's not that he has retreated fully or given up. It's just that he's decided to take a step back from whatever the situation is, understanding that this too shall pass, and not trying to actively engage in it, maneuver, force an outcome either way, because things are going to play out as things are going to play out, as they're meant to. Divine timing and orchestration, I feel, is strongly at play here. Whether or not he involves himself or not, the outcome is going to be the same, and he recognizes that. So he withdraws and allows things to play out, and he watches how they play out. But there still is a sense of, you know, waiting, of limbo, of watching to see how things play out, which can be kind of difficult and a challenge sometimes. Now it's clarified, which means the message is underscored by this Two of Swords. So more mental energy here with the element of air in the Suit of Swords. The Two of Swords represents kind of feeling stuck as well, being at a crossroads, not really sure what to do. If there's a choice or a decision in front of you, it can represent not knowing which choice or decision to make, what action to take. Sometimes the blindfold can represent that there's an issue in front of you which needs to be dealt with, but for some reason you're experiencing a reluctance or a resistance to doing it, or it could be a combination of all of those energies. The fact that it clarifies and underscores the Hanging Man, Capricorn, I'm feeling quite strongly that Spirit's advice, whether you take it or not, as I always say, we live in a free will zone, Spirit's advice, your God, Spirit, your angels and guides, is to not jump in and make a decision just yet, or take action, or try and force an outcome, even though you may be feeling like, oh, this is going to go on forever and forever. It's not. It really isn't. It will be resolved, but there isn't anything you can do right now in actively trying to force something, or making a significant decision now to take action in one way or the other. I don't think is a good idea, because this, again, I get a feeling of divine timing and orchestration, letting it play out for just a little while. Even though it feels like there may be some frustration around the middle of the month, which means that you can head off some of that, or when it comes up, you know, you can distract yourself or find other things to do. I mean, that's part of the reason why we do these readings, right? Forewarned is forearmed, so we can prepare ourselves in case we need to. Next to that is the Four of Cups, clarified by the Ace of Wands. Again, a similar sort of energy around the third week. Maybe not quite so strong as the second week or so. The Four of Cups, again, kind of implies a sense of not doing anything, but feeling during that time period very maybe bored, restless, listless, agitated, but not enough to actually get up and do anything. Perhaps not being satisfied with what you currently have, even though, as your overall energy states, the harvest looks pretty good. The environment, whatever you have, looks pretty good. The opportunity may look good, but for some reason you're feeling dissatisfied, unenthusiastic, not really plugged into it. Because I feel like for a lot of you, you're going through some kind of situation, and it feels like legal overtones to a lot of it. You're feeling like you're waiting for the big payout, or you're waiting for a more positive result, and you don't feel like what you have is enough or justifies what you've put into it or what you've gone through. So there is kind of that sense there, and it feels like it's that this delay is stopping you or temporarily blocking you from having a new beginning of some kind, because the Four of Cups is clarified by the Ace of Wands. Wands is fire energy, very active energy, and it's the energy of creation, of its creative, building, manifesting energy. It can often represent career or artistic or creative endeavors. It always represents something that's building something particularly for the future. It's fire energy, active, dynamic, oriented, fluid, forward moving. Aces represent the one, the start of something new, the beginning of a new path, or the opportunity, the seeds, if you plant them and nurture them and take care of them, that have a lot of potential to grow to a beautiful manifestation, exciting new beginnings. So, and that clarifies that kind of energy. So it feels like whatever it is, this information has come in. To recap, you're kind of feeling a bit stuck, not sure what to do. If there is a decision in front of you, it doesn't look like, if you can avoid making it right through the majority of May, do so. Again, divine timing and orchestration is playing out here, and let it. Don't try to force anything, at least for the first half to the first third or so of the month, if at all possible, because I feel like more is going to be revealed, or it will become more clear towards the end of the month. And really your intuitive sense, I think, will kick in a lot more clearly at the end of the month as well. And try not to, the fundamental advice that I'm getting is, during this time period where it feels like, you're kind of stuck, or there's no movement, or there's delay or block of some kind, try not to feed into discouragement, despair, anger, because it is going to play out. Things are moving, even if they don't appear to be. Now, at or towards the end of May 2018, we have interesting combination of cards, the Queen of Cups and the High Priestess. Very similar energies, both very incredibly spiritual, and a card about being very connected to your intuition, to what you feel should be done if there's a decision to be made. And this combination of two cards, which represent two very spiritual people, because the Queen of Cups is an incredibly spiritual individual in the tarot. The only one that rivals her for that is the High Priestess, which she's paired with. I feel like if there's a decision that you have to make, a choice you need to make in this situation, I feel like towards the end of the month, or at the end of the month, it's going to become more clear. And I feel like the reason it's going to become more clear to you, maybe quite clear, is from this, as difficult or challenging it may be, from stepping back and letting things play out for a while, even though you may be tempted to kind of charge in there and do something. I feel like as you watch things play out and get more information, if there's a choice or a decision you need to make, it will become probably quite clear by the end of the month, because a combination of two cards that include such spirituality usually represents that your intuition is going to be kicked into high gear towards the end of the month. And pay attention to your intuition, to thoughts, flashes of inspiration, your dreams, etc., because that's incredibly deeply spiritual energy, the Queen of Cups and the High Priestess. For some of you, it could be that the Queen of Cups represents another person significant in this situation. You may be being asked to trust your intuition about this person. The Queen of Cups in the upright, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, water sign, emotional feelings, relationships, but she's a queen. She's mastered the character traits inherent to her suit. So she would come across as a supportive, loving, nurturing person, kind of the quintessential female, feminine energy, soft, always knows the right thing to say, patient, ever patient, waiting, watching, always a good source of support. So it could represent an actual person that may be significant in this, and trust your instincts and your intuition about that, and perhaps trust what she's saying. But again, that combination of cards is all about intuitive reasoning, and the two of them together, I think it's going to be kicked into high gear. So for the majority of the month, if you can, Capricorn, take a step back from whatever the situation represents for you, because again, in general, readings are kind of tricky. You're reading for a lot of people, so how this plays out in the specifics is going to vary, but the energy is the same. Take a step back. Don't try and force an outcome, and don't. And even though it can be difficult to feel like you want to move, but you shouldn't. Try to be patient about it. Watch how things play out. Sometimes the best way to win a game, particularly a game of strategy or patience, is to pay attention and become better at playing it than the people who are opposing you. So, and I feel like that's kind of called for here. And again, choices and decisions, the end of the month is a better time to make it. So Capricorn, that pretty much wraps up your May 2018 general reading. I hope that you found it helpful, that it brought you perhaps some insight, a different awareness of it, or it may have validated already what you're already thinking and feeling. So go with that. Again, if any of you are interested in a more personal one-on-one reading with me, you can go to my YouTube channel's homepage, click on the little About button or the description bar of the videos I post. Feel free to email me directly at Maggie1McGuire. I would be most happy to work with you. And for fast answers to the easy, quick questions, you can also find me on the smartphone app Instantgo under Irish Gypsy. So Capricorn, I will see you all in a couple of weeks for the May 2018 mid-month readings. And until then, as always, I wish you joy, peace, blessings, and a happy life. Take care, and I hope to see you back here again soon. Bye-bye.